So today is officially beta day. So for PC and Mac, you will get a version, if you've already pre-ordered, you can pre-order down below on the Fanatical link we've got, but you'll be able to play on PC and Mac. Unfortunately, console, mobile and touch won't be able to play beta, but we have got some interesting news on a couple of things, and I've got some interesting news to think about when we might get some news about the free versions. Let's get straight into it. Console, touch and mobile, when are we going to hear about them? Well, so I was getting daily questions. So it's almost 2 years on from when the actual beta dropped. We know the date because we can see the tweets. So you can see here, FM Console was announced on the 24th of October. Mobile was announced on the 26th. And touch was announced on November 1st. Now, what does that mean? Well, we can see here, because we no longer have the roadmap, which is, as much as everyone complained, at least we knew where we stood with the roadmap. On the week commencing the 23rd of October, which was 2 years ago today, it informed us that mobile, touch and console was all roughly within the period of after beta. Now, the interesting thing is, we've actually got more news. Console achievements have actually dropped before PC achievements. So let's just quickly go into where this comes from. That means Tuesday the 28th of October, we should hear about console. That would also mean on Thursday the 30th of November, we should hear about mobile. And then that leaves the following Tuesday free for them to announce FM Touch on Apple Arcade and also give a little bit of a preview, I suppose, to those who are getting ready to order a Nintendo Switch on the 4th of December. Okay, and here's just confirmation as well that if you want Xbox on Game Pass, it will be on Ultimate, which means it's £22 a month. You can get Xbox Game Pass on PC, which would be £13.49 a month, or obviously you could buy it outright at £44. On the PlayStation, it's the same, £44. I'd argue £13 for Game Pass. If you're not playing many more games, you might want to check out that Fanatical link down below. However, let's quickly get into the achievements. So, you're probably wondering, how on earth did you create that motion graphic at the start of the video? Well, I didn't. This has actually been created by Nomad. Nomad are working in partnership with Football Manager. This came from an article of designweek.co.uk. I'll put the link down in the description. Now, the interesting thing about this is they talk about what they decided to change with FM25 and FM26, why we now have the technical area as the focus rather than the FM logo. They're talking about what the idea behind the FM logo was and about the rebranding in general type thing. It's actually, there's a couple of quick clips you're going to love, so watch this bit because it's really interesting. True Achievements have confirmed there's 44 achievements for Football Manager console. So you've got GOAT, which is usually a platinum in PC, in PlayStation, which is unlocking all achievements, World Renown, Trophy Order, Domination Part, the finisher. Pretty much everything of this is what you'd expect when you're looking through. These are not really there's no secrets, and there's not really anything that would indicate these are out of the ordinary new features. The one thing I did notice, when I was looking through it, was there was nothing really about mindsets, which was a big thing in FM24. Player dynamics, about the well-oiled machine. A lot of people didn't understand how that you could achieve that achievement. So it would be interesting to see if these are added to, or if this is everything, then what's happening with player dynamics and mindsets next week. Very quick video. I just wanted to quickly show you that the achievements are out. We haven't got them yet on the Steam, but at least we know what they are on console. And then one final thing which came up last night, which I think is quite cool, is the Design Week. Now this came up on Instagram, but it came up via LinkedIn earlier. So this came up via LinkedIn. Now this is a talk about Nomad, who's created the visual identity which inspires the next Football Manager 26. So it was originally going to be 2025, but they've been working on it since 2021, evolving the brand through slight tweaks year on year. But they wanted a bigger rebrand to mirror the changes. So this is what they've come up with. I quite like these. So the first one obviously is the new key art. While Granger and Football Manager brand marketing manager Kamal Mia challenged Nomad to push boundaries and take a holistic look at everything, everyone involved knew that they had to be mindful of the franchise's huge and devoted fan base. People absolutely love this game, and so change was not something we treat lightly. So what did they actually do? Well, the much maligned FM logo change was the first thing they introduced. Now, the idea behind this mark was to resemble a free panel football with F&M rendered in the fluid, abstract style. Now, I've posted this, and I like this. See, so it looks like a ball, and then you got the other balls there. I really like that. I think that's a really clever... The fact we haven't had these, by the way, in any of the marketing is a shame. But I really like that. And they said the logo is used actually... The way the logo is used actually changed between the aborted 25 release and the new one. Granger says they reviewed all the design decisions made last year, both because football and gaming are constantly changing, and they wanted to ensure the work was right for context 12 months on. One of the key learnings were that they weren't being confident enough with the symbol in isolation. It actually impacted legibility because we were shoehorning it into places where it didn't really work. So now the main building block is actually the manager's technical area, the two rectangles either side of the halfway line. So they've changed it, they've gone from being an FM logo to this. And can we just say, I really like that transition. That's really cool. I really like that. They used a rectangle as a design device to bring focus and intensity. Used it in both static and motion assets, vertically and horizontally. That's the manager's domain, and where they design is destiny is defined. It's so simple, but when branding, that's what branding is at its best. A really ownable symbol for us. So I quite like that. And then they were trying to explain how the design works. So you can see here, calm, intermediate, and expressive. So it's a little bit more different depending on the type. I quite like this type of stuff. I find this interesting. Okay, so the USP was a management simulation, was clear from the artwork. For typeface, they got Pangram Foundry to create a FM universe. So this is a specific font for Football Manager. Riffing off the sharper edges of the technical area while also tapering nature, smooth curves and pinches of any symbol. Well, this is what they've got, and I do like it. I do like that. That's really nice. That's really neat. You've got obviously the Yokohama F Marinos. This would suggest there's going to be some sort of advert, but we haven't seen anything yet, even though they advertise for it. I do like it all. And then that's just obviously the new identity they've built. And this is how the typefaces are going to change it, which I quite like this. It's going from the Barrow, no, we got to change that. Zonal instead. Nope, don't like that either. False 9. I just quite like, you can see how it's worked in the marketing. I really do like that. I really do. And that's pretty much it. We've got this little background shot here of, well, a bit of a hairy neck, but FMFC. And you can see here's the actual descriptors. So master brand is the logo and Football Manager. You've got the annual descriptor, so it means it's still going to be annual, which is FM26 and Football Manager 26. And then you get the sub brands of console, touch, mobile, and mobile. And then you've got things like season progress, December to February 26. And there we have it. Lots of information there. We got stuff about console for you. We got stuff about game achievements. I've tried to clear up when we'll hear off console. And not only that, we've got all the brand marketing and designs, and they looked really good, didn't they? Look, you know the score on that by now. Like, comment, and subscribe. Keep an eye out for this week's beta drop, because what we're going to try and do is explain how things work. There's going to be a video hopefully tonight. There'll be another video tomorrow, and maybe one over the weekend as well. So keep your eyes peeled. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.